What is going on, everybody? That was one of my team members, Chris. We're just catching up. So, as you guys saw from the post that I put, this is going to be an open forum Q&A type training. So, what do you guys need help with? Who can I help?
I'll jump in since no one else.
I was like, it's like this is like every time, guys. Like my spiel doesn't change. What do you need help with? What's up, Jim?
What's up, man? If you can get with my agent and get her to write up the contract the right way, that would be perfect. That's what I need help
What did
with.
she do wrong now? Oh, wait, the same thing with the days. She hasn't switched it yet.
Yeah, it's the El Paso thing, man. She calls me and she's making it seem like she can't. And I didn't know if I could come up with the strategy for it, but she's like, she acknowledged that she's got to put the 14, and she doesn't want to write in 14 business because that's the fillable field is just the number. She's like, can we just do 20 calendar? I was like, whatever.
Yeah,
I was like,
okay, that's fine. That's
yeah. I was like, just let us say
thing.
20 days. So she's like, all right, I'll correct that. But because the contract is written like the putting the earnest money deposit within 3 days, that's not a fillable field. So now it's like her brain is lost and she's like, I don't know what to do here.
All
I'm
she
like,
has to do is strike it out.
That's
Strike it out
exactly-
and put an initial signature or initial box right next to it.
bro, that's exactly what I actually should have told her that, but I thought about it after we hung up. She was like, all right, I'm gonna get with my broker, and I was like, lady, this does not have to be this complicated. It's not that serious. So now I gotta wait.
So wait, why can't we just say, hey, fuck it, we'll just use our contract?
The seller and her both wanted to use the and I guess the brokerage is telling her that she's got to use the TREC.
All right, whatever. Oh, that's right.
Huh? Yeah. So
Okay. All right, just maybe shoot her a text and say, hey, can't you just strike that in the contract and then I'll initial it, seller can initial it, and we can just fucking move on. Anyway, you're so close. You're so close. Just hang in there.
Yeah.
You're close.
All right. Yeah, that was it. I was just joking.
All right, man. Good job. Jaquan, Kevin, Connor, Justin, do you guys have any questions or need help with anything?
I do have questions.
Well, you can call me JJ. You don't have to call me Jaquan.
Wait, what is it called? JJ?
JJ, yeah.
All right, what's up, dude?
So I'm working on something right now. I just got off work and I'm finally hopping on my computer. But I just need one quick question. So when I go to copy the email from Dill Sniper into an email, it says, what? It's a dumb question. What do I put? I just put anything for the subject. Do I put the address or?
No, that's not. First of all, there's no such thing as the dumb question. Have you been wholesaling for a long time?
Nah,
then how the fuck are you supposed to know what you're supposed to put?
Yeah,
That's not a dumb question. Friday. Yeah, I know. You're the only person I know with that name. That's why I wanted to make sure I got JJ right. Yeah, dude, you're brand fucking new. There's no such thing as a stupid question. Now, if you ask me this tomorrow, then okay, that's a stupid question.
Right.
You can put almost anything that makes sense. So offer on property, and then you put the address, or LIT, which stands for LOT, letter of intent. I'm sorry, LOI. I'm thinking medical. Sorry, I used to do hospice. LOI, letter of intent. You can put that and then the address. Any combination of that is fine. The only thing that I would definitely do is make sure that at least LOI or offer is in the subject line, and then the address. One of those two should be there.
Gotcha. Yeah.
And either one is perfectly acceptable.
Okay. That looks pretty damn good.
Oh, one other thing too, just I don't know if we covered this or not. Take this out. You see where it says term length?
Yep, take that out.
Take that out and replace it with whatever your balloon range is for the purchase price. So what you'll do is you'll put one of these. You'll put balloon, and then either 1 to 3 years, 5 to 10, 5 to 7, 10 to 15, whatever. It depends on whatever your purchase price is. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. And how do I look at what you were just on to tell the balloon?
Oh shit! Yeah, go in the Discord and go on the left,
Yep.
and it'll be the quick question guide. That's basically this. Actually, for those of you that are new, all of you should probably download this. I update it sporadically because I've already put most of the stuff on here. But every time something new comes up, here are realtor objections and rebuttals, seller objections and rebuttals, balloon ranges, how to structure a deal, terminology. When you have a deal under contract, here's investors rebuttals. Here's our deed in lieu process. Here's our proof of funds little spiel that I give people. Here's our why 0% answers. A lot of stuff here.
Okay.
Which markets you should pick. There's a lot of shit here that you guys should definitely. And then here's a playlist to all of the, well, here's a page to all the playlists that you guys would need to answer. I want to say 90% of the questions that you guys might come across.
Right.
So yeah, this is definitely something you guys should download.
Definitely.
And then one other thing too, when you get it, don't request access. You just go to file and then go to make a copy.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Got you. And so this would be the first one I send today. When I hop in the deal machine, do I do it before or after they hit me up and be like, hey, we're thinking of moving forward with this deal? Or would I just go ahead and calculate on deal machine first?
Some people do. I'm telling, as long as you clean up your numbers, and now this one's not going to cash flow because this is land.
Right.
Oh, actually, I take that back. Yes, it does. Oh, why is that doing that? Okay. It's cash flowing, but it's not a lot. Okay, so anyway, if your cash on cash return for a property, whether it's long term or Section 8, is above 5 to 6% over here, then you're good. Just clean up your numbers the way I show you in the video, and then send the offer out. Once the real estate agent responds to you, then you can put it in the deal machine calculator just to really tighten up your numbers and see what you can do.
Okay, gotcha. Not with anything. That's the only thing I got on the top of my head right now.
Sounds good.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Kevin, you got a question?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. What's up, dude?
All right. Sorry, it's just my headphones. I think one of them broke, so I was like, I don't want to yell.
No, it's all good.
Okay. So, one of the questions I have, and I have a feeling that this could happen soon because I'm gonna send out an offer on a land that hasn't been on the market for a very long time. Is there a way when we do like negotiating on like the contracts wise, is there a way how we can protect ourselves from our end and from any like legal issues or anything like that?
Well, what kind of legal issue? Like, what exactly are you referring to?
Like on like inspection period or on the closing date or anything really. We are like any wholesaler should like watch out for basically.
I mean, yeah, there's a couple of things that are pretty standard that you should watch out for, but the short answer to your question is, yeah, that protection is in the contract and it's in the form of the inspection period. So if you're using our contract, then it says in there that the inspection period gives us time to back out, and that's the time that you're using to look for a buyer. So as long as you back out within that time frame for any reason, then legally you're protected. Now,
So
if you back out of that after, let's say you've got 14 days and you try and back out on the 15th day, then yes, you owe them the earnest money deposit, and technically they could come after you, but depending on how much it is, they probably won't. But they can legally, they can.
So even if it's like a day before it expires, I'm still fine, basically.
It can be the day of before 5 o'clock.
Okay. Yeah. What I was going to say. Now I know this community isn't about like land deals or anything all really like that, but on like on a land like on market land that has been like on market for I don't know 100 days, is it ideal to like I don't know offer like 60% of the original price while being a cash offer to make it attractive?
if you're asking the typical protocol, I mean, everybody's got their own process for land. I'm not a big land guy at all, but I can tell you that if you're going to get land, you're probably just going to be selling it to a land flipper. That's going to be your investor. And and if it's going to be on market, whether it's land, a single family, a multifamily, then none of that matters. Your formula is 60% of what it's listed for, minus rehab, minus your assignment fee. So if you ever need to figure out what your MAO is for land, you literally just go to this MAO calculator on this side. Here's what you plug in your numbers. So for example, this property is actually this one here. I was helping someone with earlier, and this is just land. And I've already said doing land for creative is probably not a good idea, because one, as you can see, this property is listed for 25,000, but we offered 27.5.
Yeah.
On land, that's backwards. We need to be offering a lot less, because land tends to just sit there unless you've got developers in your back pocket and you're almost reverse wholesaling. Then it's going to sit there. And once it sits there, you're going to just sell it to someone who's going to hold on to it for three to 6 months, maybe 8 months at most. They're going to wait till the value goes up a few $1,000s, and then they're going to flip it and sell it. So doing a creative deal for on market, let's use this one for example. One, when you try and add even a $750 assignment fee, you're asking your end buyer to buy the property for $2,700 more than what it's listed for originally. And then they have to wait even longer before they can have it go up to meet that value, so they're in the black, and then wait until it gets in the green so they can sell it. And at the same time, they're paying $86 a month. So the short answer to your question is, if you look at this, what they were selling it for on a cash offer, I wouldn't offer more than $5,000 on that piece of land that's listed if I was doing cash. And I would only do cash because it's land.
Right. Yeah. Because typically land deals would be cash only. It won't be like, besides, because, I'm seeing a lot more like seller finance land deals. And, just like, like, why would you do that? Like, if you're going to give it to a flipper, and it's not going to go up in value because they already paid the max price for it. So.
Exactly. So yeah, the short answer to your question is 60% of what it's listed for, minus whatever rehab, which in this case, unless it's property, a land that's got some actual issues on it, it's not going to have any of that, minus your assignment fee, and whatever's left over once you plug into this calculator is that max allowable offer you can offer on that piece of land if you're going to attempt to wholesale it. Now, again, that's just my opinion. I am not great at land. That's just how I do it. And
do you have land?
Stay away from land.
Do you have land buyers of your own on your dispo team or not?
I do. I've got like 5 or 6 that'll buy certain properties. I think this year I've only sold them like 4. So
yeah,
I mean,
are they in Texas?
can try, but one of them is in Texas.
Yeah. Are they looking like specifically in Dallas or San Antonio or Fort Worth, anywhere?
I think they're open to anywhere in the 4 major ones: Dallas, Austin, San Antonio, and Houston.
Okay. All right. Okay. Well, I'll let you know if anything else.
All right. Cool, man. Let me know. Anybody else have any questions? Leslie, what's up, dude? I didn't know you were in here.
I can't miss it when I have time. When you see me not here, it's because I'm not. I didn't have time to do it.
That's all right.
Even if I don't have nothing, I have to listen to those questions and the
responses. I figured that's what a lot of people do, and I've been trying to come up with a curriculum. The problem is the curriculum is all on YouTube, so I don't like having meetings where it's just quiet, or like this one's only going to go for about 20 minutes because no one has any questions. But I mean, it means that the resources are working for the most part. So cool. I'm here if people need it. If not, then go send out some offers to make some money. Why the fuck are you guys talking?
Let me ask you a question about the land piece you just talked about.
Okay.
I see. What about the wall land that need clearing and permitting for street and subdivision and all those things? How do you do those things?
It's one of the. It goes back to, if it's a situation like that. If it were me, and it wouldn't be because I don't do land. But if it were me, then I would get in contact with all of the local developers in the area. I'd also call the local real estate agents that have sold land in the area, probably going back 2 years. I would call all of them and I'm gonna say, look, I'm about to lock up land in these zip codes. If I do you have buyers that you can move them to? I'll cut you in. Or you can throw your fee on top. I really don't care how much you make. I'm gonna get it for the best price that I can. And then you're gonna call the developers and you're gonna say, hey, I'm about to start buying properties in this zip code. Are you guys on track to be in a position to purchase any of these properties in this zip code? If they say yes, great. What are you looking for? Now you're getting their buy box. What size? What zip code? What neighborhood? How much development on the land? Does it need to be already connected and ready for utilities? Shit like that. So I want to find that out. And then based off that information, then I would go hunt down these leads because now I have some idea of what I have to get them under contract for. One of the hardest things with land is, especially if you don't know who you're selling it to, you don't know what you need to get it under contract for. I've got a buyer right now in Milwaukee that's looking for cash flowing properties with lower-ish entry fee. I'm sorry, they're willing to pay a higher-ish entry fee for a much higher cash-on-cash return. So I know, okay, if I get this deal, I got to have it within this range. Okay, they got to be this cash-on-cash return, this amount of cash flow, this entry fee. I can bend the rules a little bit. Okay, boom, I'm going to call this guy. He's going to buy it if I get it locked up for that. Because I know who I'm selling it to. The problem with land, until you have that system established, you don't know who you're selling it to. So the name of the game is always going to be get it for the absolute cheapest that you can get it for. Once you have buyers and you're like, okay, this company will buy in this zip code. I'm gonna see if I can get this one. They won't pay any more than 20,000. This person's asking 25. If I can talk them down to 15, I can make $5,000 assignment fee. That's how you start figuring out what you need to get under contract for. Does that make sense?
Yeah, definitely. So will it be easier to send a lot on a area that's already built up?
No, I don't think that'll hurt you. It just depends on how you want to do it. It depends on which direction you want to go. So then, yeah, if you want to build up your buyers list first, that's the way that I would do it. Because there's nothing worse than having a deal under contract and not having anyone to sell it to.
Definitely.
So if it were me, I would do my research on the buyers, the developers, the real estate agents. I would have probably depending on the size of or how many zip codes or the size of the area in the city, I'd probably take like a whole week doing my research, figuring out who the players are, talking to real estate agents. If the real estate agent, oh no, I don't have any buyers. Okay, who can I talk to in your office that does deal with land on a bigger scale? Because I'm about to lock up a lot of these. And they'll just point you in the right direction. You just have to ask.
Yeah.
Once you have that
Definitely
established, then you're just reverse wholesaling at that point. You know what they would pay for it. You know what areas they want. Now you just go find deals in those areas for those prices.
That's good. That's good. That's good stuff, man. That's good stuff.
Awesome possum. Does that answer your question?
Yeah.
Cool, man. All right. Does anybody else have any other questions before I let you guys go?
Yeah, real fast.
Oh,
Go ahead, Kevin.
We'll get to
You good.
Don't trip.
No, go ahead, Timothy. Go ahead.
It was I was on a call with Kathy earlier. She just wanted some. There's another agent, as a Deal Blaster one that got sent out, and so she just wanted some clarification on seller finance. She seemed like she kind of knew what it was, and when we got to talking, she was like, "Oh, okay, this makes sense," and she'll talk to her seller about it. But what do you think I could have said? Because I could have had the conversation go a little bit better, but when we were discussing it, sounds like all the benefits were to the investor, and I told her, I was like, well, it's been on market for almost 3 months, and this is a way that we could come in actually over asking, right? And it's just over term, over some payments, You know, I try to pitch it that way. But what other benefits can I tell her that is beneficial for the seller to go with the seller finance offer?
I think you touched on the main one the best. It's like, hey, Mr. and Mrs. Realtor, what was the realtor's name?
Kathy.
Kathy. It's like, hey, Kathy, look, the property's been on market for 90 plus days. Have you guys gotten any offers? I mean, any serious offers? Because I'm serious. And then you have to wait for that answer. You know the answer. You need her to say the answer. You need her to let you know the answer, or him, if you're talking to a dude.
Yeah.
So, Kathy, the only thing that we're trying to do is get this property sold. Now, our investors are ready to come in with an over asking price and get this done. If there's something that we can tweak on the terms to make this more of an enticing offer, I mean, I could always bring it back and ask them. As long as the property is cash flowing and we're within certain boundaries and margins, they will take the deal. So let's figure it out now. Tell me what about this deal makes it feel like it's one-sided, and if I can fix it, I will. If not, I won't waste your time, and we'll just try it on another property. You basically have to have the attitude like you have to be a realist. Like, look, things have been on market for 90 days. This listing's about to expire. Do you want to get paid or not?
Yeah, ultimately. And I did exactly what you said just a second ago was, you know, I was straight up with her. I was like, look, honestly, we just need this to cash flow. So I told her, I was like, I can kick it back to underwriting, you know, and adjust any terms. So I told her, you know, bring it to your sellers, see what they want adjusted. But yeah, I wanted to, as the conversation was going, you know, she said that she is an investor too. She has some properties herself, you know, so she understands the need to cash flow. That's our main goal. And so, you know, with that, I was like, I'm happy to adjust any kind of terms, you know, if they're looking for more down or this and that. Term wise for the amount of years, I told her 10 years and she was like, oh, hell no. I told her, I was like, listen, we're a little flexible.
What's
you
the
know,
purchase price?
it was like 220, I think
Oh, shit.
226.
Yeah, you can go down to like 5. I mean,
Yeah,
technically
I
you can go
make sure to
down.
get myself room.
You can go down to 3, but 5 would be better.
Yeah, I try not to go any lower than 7, so I always pitch it higher, you know, where they're like, oh hell no, and I'm like, okay, that's fine. I'm happy to move, you know, and then try to negotiate that, get in the middle.
Smart man. Another thing too
So
you can do is use the rule of half. When you give someone 50% off, I'm calling it 50% off, but it's, you know, we're talking years, not money here. But when you cut something in half for someone to try and accommodate them, psychologically, it's very difficult for them to ask for more.
yeah.
It's very difficult because no one wants to be looked at as greedy. Now, there are some people who will because they don't give a damn. Or in their mind, they don't like, well, this isn't greedy. This is just what my sellers want. But a lot of times, even on the real estate agent side, talking to the sellers, they're like, well, they did start at 10 years. And then I told them that was going to be too long, and they immediately cut it down in half. So I don't know if they're going to go any lower. That's the conversation you want them to have. You can go lower, but you don't want them to assume that you can. You want them to almost not even want to bring it up because you went so low the first time.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Yeah,
so that would be a good tactic. And then, you know, reiterating to them, you know, look, Kathy, you guys are listing the property for 200. We're offering you 225. It's been on market for just about 90 days. I don't know how much longer you've gotten till the listing expires, but have you gotten any serious offers on this thing? I mean, anyone that's really ready to come in and close, because my buyers are. We just got to keep the terms like this or as close to it as possible. So I'll tell you what, have a conversation with them. Tell me which parts they don't like, and you and I will figure it out. Because that's when you start to build the, hey, it's me and you against your sellers, and it's me and you against my buyers.
Yeah, that part's good. Yeah, I'll definitely touch on that. I got to touch more on the pain points of it's been listed for this long, and you know, if you haven't gotten anything, I'm an offer that can get this thing sold. So I'll make sure to touch on that in our next phone call.
There you go. Yeah, let them know that you're getting everything that you wanted. They're just getting it over time instead of all in one shot. And you know, another thing too, I don't know what their tax situation is like, but this is definitely going to help them out with capital gains, especially since we're getting towards the end of the year. That's
she said that they're looking to cash out because they're not ones. She basically said, you know, the seller's not like her and me, you know, acting like we're investors, and so we're purchasing a bunch of property, that they need this to put into their next property because they don't have the funds. So that's what was tough, and I was like, like I get that. And
That's gonna be difficult.
yeah, I was like, you know, I could try to go higher on, you know, the down payment. I was like, go back to them, see what they're looking to get. And I'm like, yeah, they can't buy the next one in fully, but I'm like, you can use this as a down payment to get to, you know, your next property. And I tried to like pitch it that way, but that's where I was having a tough time. I was like, how the hell do I say that this is a good thing when they have no money for the next house?
Maybe well, one, you'll have a shorter balloon, and two, and now I did this before. Actually, I've done this a few times before, but I was working with the seller directly when I did this. But if you can find out based off the down payment that you've already given them, see, that could be a trap. You might not know how to talk your way out of that, just in case.
And Deal Blaster was kind of high already at, I think it was like 17 or 18,000. So
no, I was more thinking about the monthly payment, because what I did before was I talked to the seller and I said, hey, what's your monthly, because she was moving into a condo. And I said, what's your monthly payment for this condo going to be? She's like $1,000 a month. I said, okay, I'm giving you 800 of it. Look at it that way. You now, because of me, not only you're getting a large chunk of change, you can furnish the property and move and all that stuff, but now for the next 5 years, your rent is only $200 a month. So you could do it that way. However, you don't know their situation, and that's probably more of a trap than it will be a trap for you than a trap for her. So I would probably just etch a sketch that. Don't use that. Based off what you told me about their situation, yeah, I wouldn't do it. Okay. I wouldn't do it unless they say they're renting. If the real estate agent lets it slip that they're renting, then you can ask what the rent is. And even if she tells you and you do the quick math in your head and you're like, oh yeah, this isn't going to be good, you're just like, I was just curious. But if it ends up being really close to what you're giving them monthly, then you can use that. Like, hey, Kathy, I don't know, I just did the quick math, double check me if I'm wrong, but if I give them $17,000 now and then X amount of dollars per month, that means that their new monthly payment on wherever they're moving is only going to be this for the next 2 years until I give them the rest of their money, or the next 3 years until I give them the rest of their money.
Yeah, that's a good benefit. Yeah, just gotta be careful with prying. Yeah, I'm looking into that. All right, that's a good strategy though. Good
yeah, I mean, you gotta talk. I would just have a real conversation with her. But the most important thing is you gotta make Kathy feel that it's you and her versus the buyers and the sellers.
Yeah,
you two are the team, that you guys need to collaborate to figure out the solution.
Yeah, I'm getting that thing sold. We want to offer plate and money in her pocket. So all right, cool. Yeah, I know
start asking her opinion on, well, what do you think we should do? What do you think they would take? Things like that. That way you get her input.
Yeah, perfect. That sounds good. Thanks.
No problem. Kevin, what's up, dude?
Okay. What if the realtor does not? Okay, let's see. So in the Discord, you have your own setup to when it comes to like the contracts and whatnot. But what if the realtor does not want to use like our contract and wants to use theirs? Is that totally fine?
Yeah, there's actually a video on the Quickies playlist on YouTube that goes through that. So if the real estate agent wants to use their own contract, that's absolutely fine. You just have to make sure that the contract's assignable. Earnest money deposit is due on or before the end of the inspection period. There's no option period. We're not paying for that. And you want to make sure the contract's assignable.
Okay.
And the inspection period is, at least 7 business days, ideally 14.
Okay. All right. It's good to know.
Yeah, I definitely watched that playlist if you haven't yet. Have you watched any of the playlists yet?
Yeah, I watched the playlist, but I don't think I catched on to that part, I think, to the contracts part. I have to watch it.
Yeah, this is under the YouTube Shorts. So that entire playlist, every video is only 2 minutes long.
Okay. All right, that's good to know.
Any other questions? Kevin?
Come on, guys.
Oh, no, Kevin.
Yo,
Kevin, I was talking to you.
My bad.
Okay, go ahead, Jay.
my bad. I came in late. Sorry. I did have a question. I'm sure you probably have a playlist on this. I had a question about novations.
Mm-hmm.
I just wanted to ask you, just explain it to me like I'm new to it and I'm a dummy. Like, what is it and how does it work?
Sure, as long as you say that you're not going to call yourself a dummy again, because that was stupid.
All right.
So a novation is basically just okay. So what is a transaction look like when we're not involved and it's just a real estate agent? Real estate agent calls the seller, or the seller calls the real estate agent and says, "I want to sell my house." Real estate agent goes down there, takes a look at it, and says, "Okay, we can sell your house for this much." They sign a contract, and the property is listed after a bunch of pictures are taken. Right.
Right.
So a novation deal is the exact same thing. Only difference is we are in between the real estate agent and the seller. So we're talking to the seller. It has to be an off-market lead. You can't do novations for on-market. You can't do novations for anything that was listed 6 months prior. You can't do that. So assuming this one's just completely off-market, you give the cash offer, it's no good. They don't like it. They want a little bit more. You do the creative financing, they don't want to do creative financing. They want cash, you're close, and their property is in relatively good shape. When I say relatively good shape, I mean it'll pass an inspection. Now, this is the low form of novation. There's a higher form of novation that I will go over if you guys want to hear it. But the low form is you want to find a property that the seller wants cash. They want a little bit more than what you're giving them as a cash offer wholesale. And the property is in C+ or better condition, meaning it'll pass an appraisal, it'll pass an inspection. Then you talk to the seller and you say, look, I know I gave you this cash offer, but we can do something called our equity protection program where you have my real estate agent list your property. I'll cover all their closing costs. I'll cover their commission. And if the inspector or the appraiser flags anything once we find a buyer and that needs to be fixed before closing, I'll pay for that too. You get your money. Yes, I'm going to make a profit. I'm a business. I will make a small profit, but I'm literally taking care of everything. You have to do nothing but collect your check when I'm done. Then, once they sign the contract with you, you call the real estate agent, say, hey, I have a property that I have the attorney in fact on. An attorney in fact, basically a power of attorney that says you're allowed to list the property. You talk to the real estate agent, say, here's the property, here's the address, yada, 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 how much you think you can sell it for in its current condition. They're going to go take a look at it like normal. They're going to call you back. They're going to say, I think we can list it for this much in its current condition. Hopefully, that number is less than your MAO for what you offered the seller. In case you want to know what that formula is, you take the as-is value of the property, not the ARV. As-is value, you subtract 10%. That's for the closing costs, the realtor fees, and all that shit. And then you subtract $30,000. That $30,000 is the only number that you can alter. That is your assignment fee. Sean, why the hell is it $30,000, even though it sounds just like a cash deal? One, you're paying all the closing costs. So you need to also make sure that your real estate agent isn't charging you too much. Two, you signed up to be on the hook for anything that the property needs in order to close. So if the inspector goes in there and says, oh, this needs a new electrical panel, it's $3,500, you have to pay for that. That's coming out of the $30,000. So once all the stuff is paid for, and any repairs that needed to be paid for are paid for, you get whatever's left of the $30,000. If you did your job real good and you picked a property that was going to pass inspection, other than a couple of incidentals here or there, maybe $1,000, you should be walking away with that whole 30 grand.
Okay, that makes sense. So can you, like, let's say as is value is 500K minus 10% minus 30K is like 420, right?
Yep.
If it's put on the MLS for what, 500, and there's like a bidding war going on with buyers and they want to get it at like 550, do you keep that difference or no? How does that work?
Yeah, you keep the difference.
Oh, so you can get the 30,000 that you originally said, and then whatever that goes over 500, you keep.
Correct. But at the same time, if you want to do it properly, if the as-is value of your property is 500,000, you're going to get it under contract for 420, right? Because that was your MAO.
Right.
You're going to list it for as low as you can compared to the value of the property. Because with a novation, one of the things that you're signing is that's going to get done quickly if you're doing a low-level novation. Which means you want the property listed and having an accepted offer typically within 30 to 45 days. So you can do another 20 days of closing because you have a 60-day contract with the seller. Here's another
Okay.
thing. The seller is 100% going to see what you're listing the property for. They're going to be a part of all the paperwork. And you better believe that if it's a bidding war and you sell it for 550, you're not obligated to give it to them, but you're going to have an uphill battle because they're going to see that. And they still have to sign the final paperwork in order to get it done. Now, granted, if they try and screw with you, you can put a memorandum on the house. It's in our contract too, even our novation contract. That's just a lot of hassle. Me personally, I would talk to the seller and I'd say, look, we're getting in a little bit of a bidding war. I'm going to change how much we're giving you based off of, you want to do it preemptively because it goes back to the psychology I was saying earlier. If you give someone a big discount, it's highly unlikely they're going to ask for more. So if you jump in front of it and say, hey, we're getting a bidding war going on. I know I was supposed to give you 420, but it looks like we're going to be making a little bit more on this property than we anticipated. So based off of what we actually end up with, I'm probably going to end up giving you another $25,000 because you've already got 30 grand built into the deal. If you get $50,000 over, granted, that's another $5,000 you have to pay the real estate agent because it's their percentage. But you're still making, even if you give the seller $25,000 extra, you're still making $55,000 on the deal. But you're buying yourself some leeway at the end. Because even if the seller's like, oh, you're making, well, yeah, but I gave you an extra $25,000. I didn't have to give you any of this. I could have just had you sign paper and walk away. Now you don't have to have that awkward conversation. They're like, oh, shit, he already gave me $25,000. Let me just take my money and shut the fuck up.
So it's like a smoother transaction when you do that.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, again, that's me. I'm not saying you are. I'm just inherently not greedy. If there's enough to spread it, I'm gonna spread it around. Especially if it's a novation deal, because I've already got 30 grand baked into the deal. It's already in there, including the closing costs for the real estate agent and everything else. So if I turn into a bidding war where I'm now $50,000 over asking, yeah, I'm jumping ahead of that strategically. I mean, I would do it because I like to think that I'm a good person, but even strategically, it makes sense for me to jump ahead of that because then I'm not blindsided with it and the seller can't hold me hostage with it because I came to you and told you, hey, we're going to make more money on this than we expected. So because of that, I'm probably going to end up giving you an extra $25,000. I will let you know as soon as we figure out which offer we're taking. And then I'm going to have you sign an amendment changing the amount that you're getting accordingly, okay? And I would absolutely give that to them. Not all of it, obviously, but yeah, I would probably give them half.
Okay, so that just makes you look more of a trustworthy person. They want to do more business with you in the future, if that.
It's not. I mean, yeah, that's it too, and referrals and all that stuff. That's great, and it'll probably score you points with the real estate agent and all that stuff. But more than that, the last thing you want is to have your deal held hostage by anyone, especially the seller. Because even if you were to file a memorandum on the property, you'll get some of the money. You're not going to get it all. You'll just get screwed out of the deal anyway. There's ways around a memorandum. So there's been wholesalers that I've talked to before that have had a deal held hostage because the seller either one was not aware that the wholesaler was a wholesaler, and now they're pissed, and then they found out how much the wholesaler's making, so they just held the deal, got a hold of the buyer after the contract was canceled and had expired, and just went around and sold it to the buyer directly for the same price.
That's absolutely insane.
That's why it's so important to let everyone know and be on the same page. Hey, I'm a wholesaler. This is what I do for a living. So I'm going to make money off of this transaction. I'm going to get you the best offer that I can. But I'm making money off of this. This is a business. Nobody works for free.
So how would it, I mean, obviously it would work because of a real estate agent. So if like a buyer sees the property on MLS and they want to walk it, they would obviously just talk it out with the agent, and then they'll set up a showing.
The agent that works for you. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Perfect. Okay, cool. Awesome. Yeah, that pretty much answered it. Yeah, I kind of was like, what my main question pretty much was, which you already answered, was how does the seller not get mad seeing how much you're making off that deal when it puts on MLS? But
you're structuring it as a service that you provide. Anytime you're structuring it as look at here, Jay, you don't have to do anything. I'm going to hire my real estate agent. My real estate agent's been doing this for years. She's an absolute beast, and she's real good at getting property sold really fast. I'm going to send her over to your property sometime early next week. She's going to walk it, take some photos, verify some information. Her and I are going to game plan, and I'm going to call you the next day, and I'm going to let you know what we're going to do. We're also going to take care of, we're going to have low impact. The last thing I want is for you to ruin a whole Saturday or a whole Sunday with these open houses where you're sitting around, you're cleaning, waiting for people to show up at your house, and they never do. So what we're going to do is we're going to vet out every single one of the people who say that they're interested. We'll coordinate everything with you and make sure that my real estate agent can let them in and get the property sold. We'll take care of all the marketing. We'll take care of any cleanup that needs to be done. We'll take care of the closing costs. We'll take care of any repairs that need to be done as per the inspector or the appraiser. We will literally handle everything. All you have to do is sign your paperwork and collect your check when we're done. Once you run down a big list of everything that you're going to do, which is the nightmare part that most people don't want to deal with when they list their property, again, and then you reiterate, yeah, this is like a full-blown concierge service that we do for our clients. And you know what? We've got enough space to do 2 more. You want one of the spots? I can call my realtor right now. You just keep reiterating it's a service because everyone knows that you pay for a service.
Okay. And you can't, it only works off market, and you can't do it to a property that was listed 6 months ago or within the last 6 months.
Yep.
Okay. Got you. Cool. Awesome. Thank you. Appreciate it.
And yes, you can do novations with creative terms as well. You guys can absolutely get a deal under contract that's creative and then listed on market with those terms, just with the extra, your assignment fee and everything on top of it.
Oh, wow. I actually didn't know that. That's actually good to know.
And nobody asked, but you guys are new to novation, so you didn't know to ask. The higher end of doing novations is where you actually take a property that's in whatever condition and fix it. You use your own funds or get funds, whatever. You fix it. Same deal as before with the seller. You fix it. Only difference is you're going to be offering them significantly less money on your MAO because now you're paying to basically flip the property, and your formula is not based off of the as-is value. It is now based off the ARV because you are going to flip the property to sell it for the maximum amount of price. So you got to factor all that in when you're making your offer to the seller, and you're going to let them know, hey, your property is in terrible condition. I understand why you haven't listed it. We can get you a little bit more money than what I offered you before. Here's what we're going to do. You're going to fill out some paperwork that I'm going to send you. That's going to give me the authority to renovate your property. I will pay for the renovation. I will hire my real estate agent when we're done, yada, 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 go through the rest. I'm going to get my money back plus a profit. You'll get whatever we negotiate on right now based off of the current condition of the property and its value. And once everything's said and done, we both walk away happy. We'll take care of absolutely everything, full-blown service. Depending on how much work your property needs, once my real estate agent takes a look at it, we'll kind of brainstorm, and we'll be able to give you a time frame of how long it'll take to get the property renovated. Once it's renovated, we'll list it. Once it's listed, we'll market it to get a buyer. Once we get a buyer, we'll vet them out so we don't have them wasting your time. Hey, sit around for this open house for 48 hours. No. To hell with all that, Mr. and Mrs. Seller. We're not going to do that to you. We'll do it a little bit more efficient. We're going to vet out the buyers, make sure they're actually serious and not just kicking tires, wasting your time. Once we vet them out and they're serious, then we'll have them schedule a time to go look at the property with the expectation that they're going to be putting in an offer within 24 hours. How's that sound?
Wow. Okay. I never knew that one. That's actually really good to know.
Yeah. And that whole spiel you can mix, match, and say with any scenario that's an ovation.
Oh, wow. Okay. And then what about like if you're doing that and so it's like, oh, and you're like renovating and they're like, oh, no, I want to back out of the contract. Obviously, you have a bulletproof contract at the time.
Yeah. There's you literally, you can put a mechanical lien on there's a bunch of shit you can do. You can put a mechanical lien on there. You can put a memorandum on there. You can just take them to small claims court, depending on how much you spent. There's a lot of shit you can do. And like I said, the contract is pretty bulletproof for all the states that wholesaling is legal in. So even going to court, like nobody's going to tell them, well, you should go to court and fight this. They won't win. Not with our contract. Our contract has so many redundancies in it for protection for the wholesaler. And don't get me wrong, there's 3 or 4 redundancies in there to protect the seller, but there's like 6 to protect us because this is what we do. It's home court advantage.
Okay. And then the memorandum is already in the assignments or the purchase agreement. I mean, sorry.
It's in the purchase agreement.
Okay. Okay.
Sean,
Awesome. Yeah, I'm just going. I'm sorry.
how
go
many? It was just regarding what you just said, Sean. How many times have you successfully done that? That was one strategy I haven't heard of, is doing basically a fix and flip, but you fixing it and doing a novation. How many times have you successfully done that? Because that's it. Just feels like there's a lot of there's a big chance there. Like you're taking a lot of risks there. You know, having to fix it up. I guess depending on the rehab.
I have successfully done it to where I'm paying for the actual rehab twice. I've only attempted it twice because you're right.
Yeah.
It's a big jump. However, if you can negotiate okay, there's a lot of ifs here. So
Yeah.
bear with me. If you can negotiate and you have the money to facilitate a rehab or the means to get the money to facilitate a rehab and you can do a novation, you could clear $60,000-$70,000 profit on a property without ever having to own it. Like it's like where they say the juice is worth the squeeze. Yeah, the juice is worth the squeeze, even if some of it gets in your eye. Now, you can also do a novation very wrong. My very first novation deal I ever did, I was clocked, I think, to make $16,000-$17,000 as my assignment fee. I made like $750 or $1,750. So something terrible.
Yeah, I remember you saying that.
Because I screwed up. I did not take into account how bad this property actually was, and it was bad.
What did you do that you know now that you did wrong back then?
I didn't count the rehab properly.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, I did not count the rehab properly at all. I thought it was going to be like $20,000-$30,000, ended up being like 66.
Wow.
And that was a high-end novation?
Yes.
Oh my god.
The difference between, I don't know, because I know it's going to vary from deal to deal, but I would assume the numbers are close between your cash offer, because the property needs a bunch of rehab, right? So the difference between what the cash offer is and how much you end up locking it up for on the high-end novation would be what? Because you still got to get it for low enough to account for all that rehab.
Yeah. Well, because remember too, you can use the ARV instead of the as-is value. So I'll show you what I'm talking about. Let's go here.
Yeah, like how much more can you give the seller, right?
Well, that also is going to depend on what the rehab is, just like with a cash deal.
Yeah.
So the more extensive and expensive the rehab is, the more you have to back off of your MAO. So if we've got a property and the as-is value is $200,000, right? Where am I at? And it needs $20,000 worth of rehab. Where the hell did you get this number? Oh, my formula got messed up. All right, whatever. $200,000. Okay, so and then it needs $50,000 or $20,000 in rehab. So here's my offer. If the as-is value is $200,000, right? Now, if I take the same deal, and let's say the ARV though is $350,000, it still needs the same $20,000 worth of work, and I still want that $30,000, right? Oh, oops, 200, and the ARV is 350.
I think you put $50,000 for your fee on novations.
I did because it's $20,000 for the rehab and then $30,000 for my fee.
Oh,
Right.
okay.
And if I go to fix and flip, see the difference? So it's way different than a novation deal because I can use the ARV, which is an extra $150,000 versus the as-is value. If I was going to do like the low end, where I'm not doing the rehab on it, I have to work with what it's worth now. But if I have to put $20,000 into a $200,000 property to make it worth $350,000, well, then yeah, I'm going to do that all day long. Now that's actually a little off. It should probably be closer to $50,000 to get that big of a jump. Yeah, it would need to be $50,000.
Mm-hmm.
So that would make this 80. Yeah. So here I can offer $100,000, and here just to make it a little bit more clear, 350, $50,000 rehab, $30,000. There. See the difference? Because I can use the ARV, I'm $65,000 higher.
I feel like this should have been the opposite because
What do you
you're
mean?
giving the seller more on a cash deal.
No.
versus a-
I'm still giving them the exact same amount based off, because remember, I'm doing an novation. So my offer is $100,000 on a novation because I have to use the as is value. What I'm doing is putting in the exact same numbers, but I'm using the ARV so we can see the difference, and the difference is $65,000. That's how much more meat is on the bone because I can use the ARV versus the as is value. Does that make sense?
All right, so we're saying right here that I'm looking at 165. That could be the high-end novation offer, correct?
No, not the high innovation offer, because remember, I'm not giving up my profit. Otherwise, why am I doing a high innovation? So I'm giving them their number based off of the as is value, because that's what they're getting. I'm going to pay you, Tim, for your property in its current condition, but I'm also going to pay the money to fix it up so that we can sell it for more money. But you're only getting what it's worth before I put any money into it, because it's yours in this condition. So you're still only getting the $100,000.
Oh, on a high-end novation, I thought we were going off of the ARV.
When you're calculating your numbers, not the numbers for the seller, you're only giving them what the house is worth in its current condition. Sorry if I made that sound confusing.
Okay.
Regardless
a little
of,
bit, I got it now.
Yeah, regardless of if you're doing the high end or the low end, they're getting the novation as is number.
Got it.
If you're doing the high end, I was just showing you the difference.
Yeah.
You have a $65,000 profit in there because all these numbers are the same. It's going to cost you 80 grand. Over here, it's going to cost you 80 grand.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Now it's clear. Now it makes sense. What we give the seller is still the same. It's just, your profit definitely goes higher.
Correct.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Sean.
Yeah.
I want to thank you again, man. I want to thank you again for that gold pieces you just dropped. Exactly 1 year ago, I would have made over $100,000 on a property here. If I know about that. A lady that had a property that a friend of mine sent to me, she posted for sale by owner in front of it. And I called her. She was ready to move. She got a new job. She was ready to move to another state. And the property had a tenant in it, and the tenant was about to move out. And guess what? The property was a 2000 build. The renovation, when I look at the picture, wouldn't take no more than $25,000 to do. To bring it to the ARV of that area, and the area was the area where property was selling on the high 400.
Oh yeah, you definitely could have cleared 70 to 100.
Yeah,
But that's all right, because now for the next one, right?
Man, to thank you again, man. That keep piling up to your debt, man.
No, that's all right. I'm not keeping track.
Anyway, man, you see, that's why I cannot miss those meetings,
Hell yeah, man. It's all good.
Yeah, I got good stuff all the time.
Well, I'll tell you what, man, keep it up, because out of all the people that I work with, you definitely in here all the time. And if you're not in here, you're asking me questions. You're man, look at this deal. Take a look at this. Take a look at that. That's why you're successful. So keep it up.
Yeah, yeah. By the way, I might send one to you to take a look at for me. It's another one with high interest, but this one
Uh-oh.
is a 5-bedroom house.
Okay. Yeah, send it over. I'll take a look at
Yeah.
it. Does anybody else have any questions?
Nope.
All right, cool. I will let you guys go. As always, this recording will be posted on YouTube tomorrow morning at about 8 o'clock. Other than that, you guys have a great night. I'll talk to you later. See ya.
Thanks, man.
Thanks, John. Appreciate it.